All right, let's bring in Alexey Muraviev. He's an associate professor of national security and also strategic studies at Curtin University in Australia. He joins us now from Perth. Welcome to the programme. Yesterday we heard President Biden announce the new tranche of US aid. It's a very different set of military aid this time, with howitzers, 100 drones among the latest US weapons. Why is it different this time?
Well, clearly there is a gradual realization among Ukraine's Western allies that the Ukrainian military cannot sustain repulsing the Russian onslaught by simply receiving light firearms. There's been a natural sense of restraint in the first instance of supplying Ukraine with so-called lethal weapons than heavy weapons. But obviously, almost 2 months into the fighting, the Ukrainian military has taken some serious punishment in terms of both human casualties, which are increasing by the day, as well as casualties with regards to or losses with regards to military equipment, heavy armaments, and major combat systems. Something that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was arguing for weeks when he pleaded to every single country he spoke to, including us here in Australia, about the need for Ukraine to receive main battle tanks, armed personnel carriers, artillery systems, aircraft, everything that the Ukrainian military is in desperate need because the Russians have been systematically destroying those pieces. So
Alexey,
it's an attempt to... Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. You know, you're talking about that desperation, those desperate calls from Zelensky, and we look at right now what's happening in Mariupol. Could more of this military aid have come sooner to Mariupol?
Well, it could have, but we need to remember that Mariupol was encircled back in early March. So the battle for Mariupol is effectively lost to the Ukrainian military. And even the mayor of Mariupol, the Ukrainian mayor of Mariupol, has left the city in the early stages. And the Russians now administered or institutionalized their own new mayor. So we have a situation when there are two different mayors of the same city operating there or operating remotely. So with regards to saving Mariupol, I think that the battle was lost some weeks ago, but it's more about to ensure that Russia will not gain advantage during the battle for Donbass, because the battle for Donbass, the battle for Eastern Ukraine may actually predetermine the outcome of the war. There is this element. The second element is equipping newly formed units that Ukrainian military are trying to form in western parts of the country with heavy weaponry, because simply bringing men and women under arms and giving them machine guns, even javelin or Stinger systems will not be sufficient to make them effective combat-ready units against a battle-hardened force. And so this supply of heavy equipment is also designed to make up for the shortages of heavy systems that the Ukrainian military is suffering from right now.
Thank you so much, Alexey Muraviev. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.